Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yasodanandana Vrajajanaranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamunatira Vanachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Om Vishwavad Paramam Sabri Maharaj Acharya Ashwatara Sata Sri Srimati Zvangdes Et si Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Jai Om Vishubhad Paramamsa Parivar Jakacharya Ashotara Sata Sri Srimati Mangres Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prem Sikho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kund Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Mayapur Navadvip Dham ki Jai. Jagannath Puri Dham ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai. Yamuna Mai ki Jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Sri Harinam Sankirtan ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Sri Sri Gaunitai ki Jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the Samadhivatis. All glories to the Samadhivatis. All glories to the Samadhivatis. All glories to Sri Guru Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pastai Bhutale. Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve. Gauravani Pacharine. Nirvisesha Sunnavadi. Paschatya Devatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namah. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth skanda, 13th chapter, sloka number 29, 30, 31. It's not coming on the screen? Oh. So sloka 29 and 30 don't have any purport, so we'll read these three slokas. Maitreya Vacha Sri Sri Gaunitai ki Jai. Sri Sri Radha Madan Mohan ki Jai. Sri Sri Jagannath Subhadra Baladev ki Jai. Ango Dvijavacha Srutva Yajamana Sudurmanaha Tat Prashtum Vyasujadvacham Sadasyam Stadanugyaya Maitreya Vacha Ango Dvijavacha Srutva Yajamana Sudurmanaha Tat Prashtum Vyasujadvacham Sadasyam Stadanugyaya Maitreya Vacha Ango Dvijavacha Srutva Yajamana Sudurmanaha Tat Prashtum Vyasujadvacham Sadasyam Stadanugyaya Maitreya Uvacha. The great sage Maitreya answered, Angaha, King Anga, Dvijavachaha, the Brahmana's words, Srutva, after hearing, Yajamanaha, the performer of the sacrifice, Sudurmanaha, very much aggrieved in mind, about that, Prashtum, in order to inquire, Vyasujadvacham, he spoke, Sadasyan, to the priest, that there, Anugyaya, taking permission. Translation. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priest, was greatly aggrieved. At that time, he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from all the priests who were present in the sacrificial arena. Please repeat. Maitreya explained that King Anga, after hearing the statements of the priest, was greatly aggrieved. At that time, he took permission from the priest to break his silence and inquired from all the priests who were present in the sacrificial arena. Nagachantya huta deva nagrinanti grahaniha sadasaspatayo bhuta kimavadyam maya kritam nagachantya huta deva nagrinanti grahaniha sadasaspatayo bhuta kimavadyam maya kritam nagachantya huta deva nagrinanti grahaniva sadasaspatayo bhuta kimavadyam maya kritam. Na agachanti are coming, ahutaha, being invited, devaha, the demigods, na grinanti are accepting, grahan, shares, iha, in the sacrifice, sadasapatayaha, my dear priest, Bhuta, kindly tell me, Kim, what? Abhadyam, offense, maya, by me, kritam, was committed. Translation. King Anga addressed the priestly order. My dear priest, kindly tell me what offense I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. Please repeat. King Anga addressed the priestly order. My dear priest, kindly tell me what offense I have committed. Although invited, the demigods are neither taking part in the sacrifice nor accepting their shares. Sloka number 31. Sadasaspataya uchuhu Naradeveha bhavato Nagham tavan manakstitam Astyekam praktanam agham Yadi hedrukstvam aprajaha Sadasaspataya uchuhu Naradeveha bhavato Nagham tavan manakstitam Astyekam praktanam agham Yadi hedruktvam aprajaha Sadasatpadaya uchuhu Naradeveha bhavato Nagham tavan manakstitam Astyekam praktanam agham Yadi hedruktvam aprajaha Vaishnavis. Sadasat Pataya Vuchuhu. The head priest said, Naradeva, O king, Iha, in this life, Bhavataha, of you, Na, not, Agham, sinful activity, Tavat Manak, even very slight, Stitam, situated, Asti, there is, Ekam, one, Praktanam, in the previous birth, Agham, sinful activity, yet, by which, Iha, in this life, Idruk, like this, Tvam, you, Aprajaha, without any son. Translation. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity, even within your mind, so you are not in the least offensive. But we can see that in your previous life you performed sinful activities, due to which, in spite of you having all qualifications, you have no son. Please repeat. The head priest said, O king, in this life we do not find any sinful activity, even within your mind, so you are not in the least offensive. But we can see that in your previous life you performed sinful activities, due to which, in spite of you having all qualifications, you have no son. Purport by His Divine Grace, Sri Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The purpose of marrying is to beget a son, because a son is necessary to deliver his father and forefathers from any hellish conditional life in which they may be. Chanakya Pandit therefore says, Putrahinam griham sunyam. Without a son, married life is simply abominable. King Anga was a very pious king in this life, but because of his previous sinful activity, he could not get a son. It is concluded, therefore, that if a person does not get a son, it is due to his past sinful life. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuranmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah. The chapter is entitled The Descendants of Dhruva Maharaj, and in these slokas, Matriya Muni is inquiring about Anga, And Maitreya Muni is answering the questions from Vidura. Vidura is inquiring about the descendants, and now this is the life of Anga. So, Anga, as described in the earlier sloka, wanted to perform a great yajna. All the pious kings of that time, Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, they used to perform great yajnas. Even Maharaj Yudhishthir in Dwapara Yuga, he also performed on the advice of Vedavyas and Lord Krishna, great Aswamedha Yajna, or this, what is called, Rajasuya Yajna. Here, I remember here in the exhibition ground a few years ago, there was Aswamedha Yajna, and they had advertised the first Aswamedha Yajna from the time of Janmejaya, so 5,000 years before. Of course, it was a complete failure, but people came to see what's happening there. This type of yajnas in Kali Yuga are not successful because, as Prabhupada mentions in the purport of the earlier slokas, in Kali Yuga there is no qualified brahmanas, and all the ingredients don't have that purity as before. Even this Ayurvedic science, they take help of natural herbs and so on. But nowadays in Kali Yuga, these herbs have very little potency, so their medical treatment is not very successful. So, but at that time, yajnas were performed by qualified brahmanas. And the idea is to give benefit of the yajna to all the people of the state. In this way, there can be plenty of rain, and everything will be made available by the grace of the demigods. Demigods are looking after the supply for the human beings, so they should also be worshipped by way of yajna according to this traditional practice. In Krishna Lila, this yajna also wanted to be performed by Nanda Maharaj and other elderly persons of Vrindavan in order to propitiate Indra. So Lord Krishna, he cast aside this idea. What for you have brought all these things? It's not important. Why you want to have yajna for Indra? Not necessary. Now we are in Govardhan. It is more important to worship Govardhan than to worship Indra. So Indra became very upset and started to pour rain. Krishna lifted the Govardhan hill. So that is part of Krishna Lila. So even at that time, 5,000 years ago, these types of yajnas from Lord Krishna himself, we understand that they are not so important and they will not yield any result. Krishna was telling his father Nanda, why you are spending so much money and such a big arrangement for yajna? Just do your duty. You are looking after cows and land. So if you do as a Vaishya, if you do your duty properly, then certainly result will come. The demigods and whoever is concerned with the welfare of the human beings, they will be impressed, they will appreciate that you are doing your duty without any sinful intention. So they will reward you with the proper result of your dutiful activity. So that was the argument put forward by Lord Krishna to dissuade his father for this extra yajna, which was not necessary. The worship of Govardhan, that is important in Krishna Lila. So, to bring rain, sometime the TTD also in Tirupati, they organized the yajna because there was a scarcity of rain it was not successful. But we have been witness that as Prabhupada organized the Sankirtan here in Hyderabad for the first time in November 1972. At that time also there had not been practically no rain at all during the rainy season. But by the Sankirtan Yagya, then the rain came and it was advertised everywhere. Swamiji is bringing rain to Hyderabad. That was the... Many times, Srila Prabhupada glorified the Sankirtan movement as opposed to the earlier yagyas that were performed in earlier ages. That is the verdict of the Shastras. Krite yajyayato vishnum tredayam yajato makahi dvaparo paricharjayam kalo tadhari kirtanat. In the Kali Yuga, only the Hare Kirtan will be effective, inasmuch as in Krita Yuga, the process of meditation was effective, then process of yagya and deity worship were effective. Now in this age, Harinam Sankirtan, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I remember that there was a press conference here in the temporary temple on the Nampali Road side. And after the Prabhupada lecture, one reporter asked, Swamiji, what is your philosophy? Do you belong to Advaitavad or Dvaitavad or Visishtadvaitavad? Please let us know. What is your philosophy? Prabhupada, he did not answer directly to the question. And he said, Annad bhavanti bhutani pardhanyadanna sambhavaha yagyad bhavati pardhanyo yagyad karma samudbhavaha. Everybody was surprised. What is Swamiji talking about? We are asking him what is his philosophy, and he is talking about Anna and rainfall. That is, so they were thinking Prabhupada did not hear the question properly. So somebody went to Prabhupada. He is not asking about that. He is asking, what is your philosophy? So Prabhupada simply repeated, Annad bhavanti pardhanya. So then and then Prabhupada explained that why you are asking about philosophy, first of all, grain are important. We subsist, human beings subsist on grain. Philosophy can talk later on. First of all, let there be grain for subsistence of mankind. And how grain is coming? By rain. Huh? And how the rain is coming? By yagya. So in this way, Prabhupada emphasized yagya, but not the traditional form of yagya, Sankirtan yagya. So that was how Prabhupada explained the importance of Sankirtan yagya for everything, for the whole maintenance of the entire society, even for from the material angle, not to speak of the spiritual angle and developing love of Krishna. That comes later on, ultimate objective. But even from the basic material viewpoint, Sankirtan Yagya is required so that the demigods will be pleased and shower rain so that there can be food for everyone. So I remember also that Mahamsa Swami was in charge of the farm, Yunami Sharanya, at the beginning. And one of the main problems of this land at New Namisharanya was land was little dry. But Mahamsa Swami wrote a letter to Prabhupada explaining to him, we have taken assistance of a very good expert land developer, belongs to the irrigation department in the government, and he gave us advice where to dig well and where to dig canals so that the whole land can be irrigated with plenty of water throughout the year. He sent that letter to Prabhupada, explaining that we are developing the land in that manner. Prabhupada answered, "What did I teach you?" In his letter, Prabhupada is telling, "What teachings you have received from me? Did you ever read the Bhagavad Gita? Do you know the teachings of Lord Krishna, Bhagavad Gita? That annat bhavanti bhutani, parjanyadanna sambhava, yagyat bhavati parjanyo." If you do this yagya, sankirtan yagya regularly every day, there will be plenty of rain. There is no need of all this arrangement by expert professionals. We don't need that type of help. This is a spiritual land. We have established this ashram, Nyunamisharanya, for the purpose of developing Krishna consciousness, and there will not be any scarcity. Why all these schemes, artificial schemes? So that's how Prabhupada answered in the chastisement to the, at that time, Mahamsa Swami. Nevertheless, Srila Prabhupada also gave importance to some extent to the proper conduct of yagyas in the traditional manner. But mostly the first reason is that the people from outside, see, like when there is opening of a new temple, like in 76 August, where Prabhupada invited, and this Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya and his brother and other friends, Brahmanas, they came for the installation ceremony, and they did the proper yagya for installation. Prabhupada was very happy about this performance, and he told us, these are real Brahmanas, as opposed to Kali Yuga Brahmanas. These are the real ones. They accurately performed this yagya, and so Prabhupada was very happy. Of course, side by side, there must be kirtan. That is compulsory yagya for the Kali Yuga. But at that time also, Prabhupada said, let us invite these Brahmanas so that people in general, if there is no such yagyas, then people will think, oh, this is not a bona fide temple. This is not according to the proper tradition, this temple is not properly installed. Similarly, in Vrindavan also, the Brahmanas performed the yagya ceremony in a proper manner. In Bombay also, Juhu, the same Sampat Kumar Bhattacharya also, and his friends went there for the opening ceremony. So Prabhupada gave some importance to that, but it is not the essential. But it is also so that people can understand, this is a bona fide movement, bona fide temple, and so on. Prabhupada himself, when he took sannyas from Keshav Maharaj in Mathura, at that time also there was yagya, and the mantras were recited by Narayan Maharaj, a disciple of Keshav Maharaj, and good friend of Srila Prabhupada. So at that time also, there was Krishnadas Babaji who was doing kirtan. So simultaneously, at the same time, yagya was going on for sannyas, awarding sannyas to Srila Prabhupada, and the kirtan was also going on. So Keshav Maharaj was little disturbed. Why these two? So anyway, kirtan is going on. But Keshav Maharaj said, you just so slow, you do soft kirtan. The yagya is going on, and the mantra, Vedic mantras are being recited, so do soft kirtan. So in this way, Krishnadas Babaji, he reduced the sound system and it was then soft kirtan. When Prabhupada at that time, he was sitting there, taking the sannyas ashram, and he turned towards the Krishnadas Babaji. He did like this. Louder, louder. So to demonstrate, and that was Prabhupada's very strong conviction, that the Harinam Sankirtan is more important than the traditional mantra recitation, Vedic mantras and so on. More important, essential. So in this way, Prabhupada gave his teaching, even at that time, firmly convinced of the importance of Sankirtan Yajna. And when he started, another episode that I just came to know recently is that Prabhupada was in the association of his disciple, Prabhakar Misra. And they were staying in not Jhansi, another place, near Vrindavan, not Lucknow, not Delhi. Anyway, I just forgot the place. This is a very important place. So anyway, so what happened, they were together. Prabhupada had already given initiation to Prabhakar Misra. They were staying together there. And Prabhakar Misra, he went to Vrindavan for some function and then came back. And then he saw at that time that Prabhupada was constantly playing mridanga and having kirtan in the room and doing circumambulation, going around like this in the room for 3 days and 3 nights. The kirtan, Prabhupada led the kirtan constantly without sleeping or eating, drinking, anything. He was completely in ecstasy. This was revealed by Prabhakar Misra in his interview. So this is really incredible how Prabhupada was so transcendentally situated in the Harinam Sankirtan. Prabhupada told at one time that one disciple, one Mataji disciple was feeling tired. She was leading kirtan. After a few minutes, 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, she felt a little tired. And Prabhupada told her, there are 3 ways of remaining on the transcendental platform. By chanting, by hearing, and by playing musical instruments. If you concentrate on this, then you will not get tired. You will go on like this. And Prabhupada demonstrated this earlier. And when he was going to, along with his followers, to Tompkins Square Park in New York at the beginning, Prabhupada was playing mridanga, and for 3 hours he was chanting. You can just imagine how an elderly person like this can do that. The only reason is that Prabhupada had so much faith, conviction in the Harinam Sankirtan. He was completely ecstatic in this way. So the yagyas, traditional yagyas, are very difficult to perform in this age, but sometimes on certain occasions they can be performed. And especially if the public is coming, public will be impressed, oh, this is very good ceremony, this is a very nice temple. That will give them an additional attraction. In Vrindavan, Prabhupada was having a Diksha ceremony, and there was a traditional fire sacrifice, yagya was going on, and mantra recitation by his disciples. But Prabhupada was listening to the ceremony. He was happy to see that everybody was participating, everybody was happy. Prabhupada noticed at one point the mantra recitation was going on, and Prabhupada told very loudly on the microphone, "Stop! Stop!" In the middle of the mantra recitation, everybody was wondering why Prabhupada is stopping the yajna like this. So everybody was stunned and trying to find out what is the reason. Prabhupada looked at the backside. One lady, she may be a disciple, she was holding a very small baby, 1 year or 2 years old, in the arms, and the baby was putting his thumb in the mouth. Just as usual for small babies, they do that. And Prabhupada saw this at the back. He said, "This is not correct. Why? You cannot allow your baby to put his hand in the mouth. This will disturb the purity of the yajna. It will become impure. So there will not be any proper result." In this way, Prabhupada also emphasized we should follow the maximum purity, whatever it may be. Even a small baby can disturb the purity of the place. That was really, everybody was really surprised, and they took it that actually this yajna should also be taken seriously, and the cleanliness aspect of it is also very important. So this is one teaching that Prabhupada gave us at that time. Of course, a child cannot be chastised. That's also another teaching Prabhupada. Sometimes he said in a lecture, women cannot be punished. Everybody clapping, all the women are clapping, but don't take advantage of it. And children cannot be punished. Everybody happy about this. And all the people cannot be punished. And the devotees of the Lord also cannot be punished. So in this assembly, nobody can be punished. That was Prabhupada's conclusion. But anyway, we have to be always very serious in our sadhana and see that all the principles are being maintained according to Prabhupada's instructions. Yesterday, I think it was said in the lecture that these two important instructions for temple life is cleanliness and punctuality. This is very two essential instructions given by Srila Prabhupada. Many times I've spoken a little bit about how Prabhupada chastised his disciples for being unclean in so many ways. We are not following properly principles of cleanliness. At that time it was quite obvious, but I would say that any time the principles of cleanliness are very difficult to follow. As per Prabhupada's standard, his standard was very high. When cooking for the Lord as part of the deity worship, Prabhupada was cooking, he was taking one pot, cooking, and if a pot is free, then he cleans. So everything that is being used, immediately afterwards Prabhupada would clean that utensil or that pot, and nothing, even at the end of the cooking practically, everything was sparkling clean. So that was Prabhupada's standard. Immediately it should be clean. So that is demonstrated when in New York, Prabhupada taught how to cook to Yamuna Devi Mataji. That was at the beginning in the New York temple. Yamuna Devi, she knew little cooking as per her own American standard, and Prabhupada was teaching her how to cook properly for the devotees. And of course, Yamuna Devi did not know anything about principles of cleanliness. So sometimes she was scratching her head or body like this. Prabhupada told her, clean your hands. Clean your hands. Then she goes and cleans her hands. And then she does something again, touching something. Clean your hands. So every 5 minutes, Prabhupada was telling her, you clean your hands. So that was important. Side-by-side cooking, but not only just cooking, but observing principle of cleanliness. That is in Prabhupada's mind, that was foremost. It is not that we can cook anyway. It must be done with a very clean. And of course, last time I was telling how Prabhupada coming here for the first time in this temple in August 76. He went to all the rooms, and starting from this temple to the kitchen was here backside, and he saw one pot. Apparently, the pot, it was wok not to cook these puris and all that. So the pot apparently was clean, but Prabhupada took the pot and made it straight. It was upside down, and Prabhupada made it down, turning 180 degrees. No, actually, no. The pot was straight, and Prabhupada took it and showed the bottom on the outside bottom. So there were some stains. It has not been cleaned thoroughly. So Prabhupada said, oh, it is so dirty. Addressing the temple president with a Parsi, from a Parsi family from Pune. Oh, no. I was in Pune. I've been to Pune. I've seen these Parsi houses in Pune. Oh, they are so dirty. But you go to Bengal, you go to Bangi, small hut, Bangi hut in Bengal. Every day, the lady will put a cow dung on the floor. It is so clean, although it's a Bangi, but it's keeping cleanliness. So cleanliness as part of deity worship is so essential. And as far as yajna is concerned, it is not all important. When Krishna was present, another Krishna Lila, everybody knows about the Yajnik Brahmanas and their wives. How the wives of the Brahmanas were appreciated so much by Lord Krishna for their devotion. Lord Krishna was playing in the forest with his friends, and he enacted one Lila. He said, oh, we are very hungry. Nearby some yajna is going on, so certainly they must have some food. So one Gopa went to the Yajnik Brahmanas and see, Krishna is there nearby and we are feeling very hungry. Please give us some of your offerings. Oh, Yajnik Brahmanas, how is it possible? He let him wait. See, we are doing yajna here, and you are asking us to give this offering for Krishna? No, let him wait. After completion, when this yajna is over, at that time everybody will take prasadam. That's all right. So, in this way, the Lord Krishna saw that the Yajnik Brahmanas were too much attached to their yajna performance according to rules and regulations, neglecting the God himself is present. What is the purpose of yajna? The yajna is meant for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord. But these brahmanas, they forgot everything. They are just conducting their yajna, chanting the mantras without any thought that the Lord is here present, and they don't understand it. But the wives, the Lord Krishna told the Gopa, you go to the wives. And the wives, they were very happy. Oh, Krishna is there, he is hungry. Okay, they took everything. And they brought everything to Lord Krishna without any consideration. So that is the importance of devotion to Krishna, Krishna consciousness. These yajnas are meant for a particular purpose. And they may not be successful always. Just like here in this case, Anga, very pious, great Vaishnava. He is doing yajna with the help of great bona fide brahmanas. Everything is pakka. The result is not coming. In the Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is explaining to Arjuna, there are 5 factors of action for proper result. The body, the soul, who is the actor, who is the agent, the senses, the endeavor. These are 4. And then, number 5, Krishna, the super soul, personality of Godhead. So everything may be perfect. The body is okay. I want to do this one. So agent is there, endeavor is there, and the senses are there. Everything is there perfectly. But it is not sanctioned by the Lord. So how can there be any result? There will not be any result. Or result may be opposed, or for some reason, the proper result will not come. These are 5 factors of action. And the last one, the super soul, Paramatma, that is very essential. Unless it is sanctioned by Paramatma, then it will not come. So people are engaged in all types of activities, but they do not consider that everything is sanctioned by the Lord ultimately. They are doing their things, and if it is not successful, they are wondering why it is not successful. Everything is there perfectly. This yajna is done perfectly. Why there is no result? The demigods are not coming. Why they are not coming? We are inviting them. So the Supreme Lord must give sanction. And if the Supreme Lord does not will according to his will, then there will be proper result. And if the Lord does not sanction, then there will not be any result. So this is actually what's happening here, that nobody knows about Anga's past life, but Lord Krishna, Paramatma, knows the whole situation. He knows not only the yajna, those who are performing, he knows Anga very well, but he knows Anga had a past life, and there is some problem in the past life, so he cannot get a son. Yajna will not be successful like this. So this is very important teaching here from the Bhagavatam, how everything has to be sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Not only we have to perform our duties, but also Govardhan Puja, Krishna is teaching Govardhan Puja. We have to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead for complete success in all our activities. Any other questions or comments? Some other thoughts I had regarding the mantra recitation, Sanskrit mantra recitation. For many disciples, it was a challenge, especially Westerners. They were not accustomed to utter these Sanskrit mantras, even from Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, or participating in a yajna. The mantra recitation may not be perfect. Prabhupada would appreciate when some of his disciples, by practice, they could manage to some extent to pronounce the Sanskrit language properly. And I remember I was there at that time, that in November 72, Prabhupada was in Vrindavan, and Guru Kripa, Yasodananda were also there. Yasodananda Swami, Guru Kripa, at that time took sannyas. So they came to Srila Prabhupada like this, and they started to recite Brahma Samhita. Chintamani Pargara Sadmasu Kalpavriksha Laksha Vrite Shussuravi Aviparayantam. Oh, Prabhupada was surprised. Oh, you have learned how to pronounce this Sanskrit Brahma Samhita. Very, very good, very good. How did you manage to pronounce so nicely? Then the Guru Kripa told Prabhupada, Prabhupada, we were in South India, and we went to Sri Rangam, and there we took teachings from Sri Vaishnavas, and they taught us how to pronounce the Brahma Samhita. So Prabhupada was very happy. So to some extent, Prabhupada gave some importance to Sanskrit pronunciation. It is not all important, but it has some importance. It is very good. And I remember also another case, opposite case. Panchadravida wanted to take sannyas from Prabhupada. He is from Argentina. He was here in Hyderabad. He was the first one to preach in Vijayawada, 1971. Anyway, so at the time of sannyas Diksha, Prabhupada told him that you do not know how to pronounce these Sanskrit mantras. How can I give you sannyas? How can I give you sannyas? So he was very much annoyed. And so somehow Panchadravida started again to try to pronounce a little better. Then finally Prabhupada, all right, take sannyas. He gave sannyas. So anyway, it's already time. Any other questions or comments?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, myself. Prabhuji, this, according to Bhagavad Gita Yajna, I heard like every action, whatever we do, in the mood of Yajna, like from one devotee, I was hearing Bhagavad Gita, like studies or like our occupation, everything in the mood of Yajna for the pleasure of Krishna. We should perform like every action in the mood of Yajna we are doing for the pleasure of Krishna.
Yes, certainly. That is the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna. That Yagyartat karmano jnata lokoyam karma bandhana. For the sake of yajna, all the activities of human beings should be performed. Otherwise, it will bind one to this material world. So yajna means yajna vai Vishnu. Yagyartat karmano jnata lokoyam karma bandhana. All activities should be performed as a yajna for Lord Vishnu. Yes, that is correct. So that is a broader understanding of yajna. So you have the traditional yajna and you have the day-to-day yajna, looking after your family, looking after your children and so on. That is also yajna. If it is done for yajna, then becomes auspicious, and it will be very, it's a part of devotional service.
But Ruji, sometimes missing that and thinking of materially and doing all the activities, we are unable to do that, especially myself. So any practical tips how we can
Always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. At all time, in all places, 24 hours a day, chant Hare Krishna and everything will be perfect. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.